So animals in the world have used in wars a lot, and this one is one of the more unique ones. It's about Wojtek the bear.
It's February 1944. Organized chaos reigns at the docks of the Italian city of Naples. The Polish Second Corps, with its 50,000 men and equipment, disembarked to join the British in the Italian campaign. Between it all, British courier Archibald Brown is processing the latest arriving unit, the 22nd Artillery Company.
Private Wojtek.
He reads off the list, but no soldiers step forward.
Private Wojtek?
He repeats himself, prompting chuckles and giggles from the lines of men in front of him.
What's happening? Who is Wojtek?
Brown asks again, his patience running thin.
Well, he only understands Polish and Persian.
Says the colonel, causing the men's composure to degrade further.
Haven't you seen him? He's a beast. 6 feet tall. He can pick up men by their feet and throw them away.
He wrestles several men at once and wins every time. And just the sight of him makes enemies flee in terror. The lines of men are taken over by poorly concealed laughter. Brown is at a loss for words. Confused and irritated, he orders an explanation at once. In response, the soldiers lead him to the cargo section. There is a cage sitting among the crates. Inside is a massive 200-pound brown bear. There is Wojciech.
He was hungry.
Brown can't believe his eyes. How did the bear end up in a Polish army? What? How? The Polish soldier says, well, it was April 1942 at a camp in the outskirts of Tehran, Iran. The soldiers are veterans of the invasion of Poland, recently released from the Soviet gulags in the wake of Operation Barbarossa. It's one of the many stops in their journey to join the British in North Africa. At first, it looks like a night like any other, but in a corner of the camp, the men of the Second Transport Company have a surprise guest. A poor child with a cloth sack hanging from his shoulder. He appeared hungry, so the soldiers offer him some of their rations. However, as the child eats, they notice the sack seems to move. Curious, they ask to see what's inside. The child undoes the tie, and to the soldier's surprise, the head of a little bear cub peeks out of the cloth.
So cute!
The men are instantly won over by the little thing. It's very docile and responds nicely to the pets and its attention.
Don't adopt baby bear.
Was
It's
it
a
an
bad
orphan
idea.
of war, or was it wrenched from its mother? The soldiers, perhaps with more heart than sense, decide that they will adopt this helpless animal. Having no money, they offer a bunch of knickknacks to the child in exchange for the bear. Finally, settling for a chocolate bar, a Swiss Army knife, and a tin of corned beef, which the kid happily accepts.
Got so many
The unit would give him his
meats.
name, Wojciech, meaning happy warrior. But it wouldn't take long for the bear's presence to be discovered. His cuteness was overpowering, and no superiors raised any objection. And so, Wojciech became the unit's mascot. Being fed condensed milk out of a vodka bottle for the first weeks by a young soldier by the name of Dimitar, who became one of his main caretakers. Wojciech was brought along as the unit travelled through Iraq, Syria, and Palestine, quickly following the entire way. It's been a few months, and Wojciech proved to fit right in. He shares in all the soldiers' rations and is taking a liking to beer, and even being given his own oversized mug. It doubtless wasn't the best diet for the young bear, but the young men wanted to share what they had, and see him as one of the men. He often stares at his empty mug with sadness, hoping a soldier will take pity and top him up. He also takes coffee in the mornings alongside everyone else. For sleep, he would often stay inside a padded crate made for him, but on cold nights, he would opt to cuddle with Dimitar instead.
What the fuck?
But taking care of a bear isn't without its complications. The searing heat of the desert proved tough on Wojciech, who learned to love showering, but also learned how to turn the showers on.
Uh-oh.
His lengthy, unsupervised showers caused water shortages for the unit on more than one occasion. He would also raid the kitchen if he felt like it.
Man.
Most times he wouldn't get very far. But in Christmas of 1942, the Christmas party means that no soldier was in a condition to keep an eye on Wojtek, which allowed him to loot the kitchen all night long.
No.
The soldiers didn't care. They loved the bear despite and even because of his exploits. During the day, Wojtek entertains himself by playing in the camp. He chases and eats oranges thrown by the soldiers during grenade practice, and would even play fight with the men. Soldiers lined up to try and tackle the bear. Predictable results.
Oh.
Many torn uniforms and scratches were had.
Yeah,
Soldiers
that's a bullet
weren't
for
ones to
you.
leave score and settle, and began taking him on in groups.
Oh. It's a fucking bear. What the fuck do you
Wojtek
expect?
remained undefeated. But the humans were little compared to what was to come. In September 1943, at a camp in Iraq, the soldiers of the 2nd Transport Company learned that an infantry unit stationed in the camp also has a bear of its own, named Michael. Someone had the colossally bad idea to let the two meet, and they bring them both face to face. It's tragic that these two wild creatures have been taken from the wild in times of war. Maybe it's the frustration of the animals in captivity, but Michael pounces upon Wojtek the instant he
What
sees
do you
him.
mean to
Wojtek
Michael?
sees it coming and charges in kind. The two bears slash at each other with their massive claws and try to bite at each other's
Oh,
throats with
shit.
their sharp fangs. The soldiers are aghast, but there's nothing they can do to stop them. They just watch as Wojtek repels every attack, Michael coming out worse for wear with each pounce. Eventually, Michael tires, bleeding from many scratches and bites, and retreats. Fortunately, both
Got some audio issues. Man, you guys can be stupid.
bears make a full recovery, and Michael would later be donated to the Tel Aviv Zoo. When the
Yeah.
Polish Second Corps finally
He's
arrived in
in
Egypt,
retirement.
they're reorganized to fight alongside the British. Among the changes, the 2nd Transport Company becomes the 22nd Artillery Company. Furthermore, they're assigned to join the Italian campaign. And there, they stumble upon an issue. The transport ship that is to take them to Italy forbids pets and mascots, but the Polish soldiers aren't ones to leave the great Wojtek behind. So they come up with a clever plan. With the help of their superiors, Wojtek is officially drafted into the Polish army as a soldier, just like any other. He's given a paybook with its salary, soldier serial number, and the rank of private. The British begrudgingly allow him onto the ship. Private Wojtek continued his misadventures throughout Italy. The promotion must have gotten to his head because he ramped up his antics.
Oh no.
The unit was driving by the beach, and Private Wojtek decided it was a good time for a bath. He leapt off the truck and ran for the shore.
Oh my god.
The convoy immediately stomped on the brakes as beachgoers ran away in panic. A soldier shouted,
Don't be afraid. Bear is good.
I don't think they give a fuck. It's a wild. It's
Wojtek
still
happily
wild
played
animal.
in the waves for a few minutes before returning to his handlers on his own. Throughout the Italian campaign, Wojtek also noticed how the soldiers routinely loaded ammunition crates into trucks and began trying to help. The amazed soldiers encouraged him, and in time it became common for Wojtek to help a little when loading the trucks, although he would often prioritize the empty boxes and leave the full ones to the humans. But his rise to fame would come in May 1944. It's the 5th month of the brutal Battle of Monte Cassino, and the 4th attempt by the Allies to break through the German defensive lines. The once grand abbey of Monte Cassino lies in ruins atop the mountains, and the once lush forest has become a hellscape of charred soil and burned trees. The 22nd Artillery Company sits in the rear, down the valley, away from the clashes of tanks and infantry. They fire their cannons, sending shells flying towards targets miles away. Private Wojtek observes as fellow soldiers carry the heavy crates of ammunition closer to the firing cannons, and remembering his training, he decides to help. Private
Oh,
Wojtek
good
braves
catch.
the chaotic orchestra of war raging around him and begins single-handedly lifting crates of artillery ammunition and carrying them over to the cannons. To the glee and surprise of the men. The Allies would emerge victorious that day, finally breaking through the defensive lines. 12th of May, 1944. Following the battle, the 22nd Artillery Company would change their emblem to a drawing of Wojtek carrying an artillery shell.
Good there.
His actions also earned him a promotion to corporal. Wojtek didn't see combat again and would retire to the Edinburgh Zoo after the
Yay.
unit was brought to the UK for demobilisation. He would often be visited by journalists and former
That's a
Polish
really good
soldiers
enclosure.
who would sometimes sneak in oranges for him. He would also be a repeat guest of a UK children's show named Blue Peter.
I mean, some
Corporal
sketches
Wojtek
have
lived a
happened
happy
with Peter, I
retirement
think.
and died in December 1963 at the old age of 21. 10 monuments would be built in his memory across the UK and Poland.
Don't adopt bears. It's a bad idea. I'm gonna have some dinner later.